Hey guys, for today's Weird Adventures of Doom Patrol, let's hop on into a new dimension, into a skating ring party! What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys my review on episode 2 of Doom Patrol for season 2. And while this one didn't mostly focus on Dorothy per se, it did give us what I told you guys, the other perspective of her introduction from last week's episode. We saw it from her camera perspective and being inside that cage and being in there while what she unleashed slaughtered everybody but Niles. But this time, like I said, we got to see it from Niles' point of view. And how she was captured and made of, what's the best way to put it? Let's just say, an exposure for entertainment and stuff. And yes, of course, as y'all saw, people insulted her and stuff because she was different, just because of her face. She was known as the Ape Girl, or whatever you want to say. Of course, though, Niles knew he didn't know straight out the bat, but he had his suspicions on who this girl might be. Only after seeing the wolf deer did he realize that Dorothy was his daughter right there. And then, of course, we saw exactly what it was that killed all those people except Niles. It's this thing that looks like a birthday devil candle cake or something like that. It did say, I can make you a wish. I can fulfill a wish for you and stuff. So the fact that it has all those candle cakes on it and stuff is a very definition right there to show that, yeah, that's what that thing is. Like some candle cake thing that'll make the wishes of the little girl, but dark wishes from what it seems like. And from what we saw there, whoa. Yikes! We may not have saw exactly how that thing slaughtered all those people, but the mere fact that you see it just shows exactly why Niles wants so desperately to protect her. Why after finding her, he sent her to Danny, and why he wanted to prolong his life and stuff. And now guys, don't get me wrong, this still doesn't excuse him for what he did. I know he did everything out of the love for his family and stuff, but ruining other people's family and stuff, or other people's lives, that's no excuse at all, none whatsoever. So, that part, no, I still can't forgive him for that. He's still, I want to say, better yet, let's put it this way. He's still a big douche for that. And yeah, I know when it comes to family, we do anything to protect them, but I'm not sure if Dorothy would like to know that her father had been doing stuff like that. But that's just a suspicion and all. And yet, still, it's good to know he loves his daughter, even though maybe that love is a little too extreme, but let's face it, considering how to protect his wife when he was living with her and actually killed that former partner of his, we can't really say we were that surprised per se. Because he showed already he had a dark side that'll do anything for people he loves. And we saw how much of an extension it goes into this. But still though, I am sad for Dorothy. She knows this and she's trying to deny it and stuff, but she knows that it's true and that this is gonna happen. And it turns out the reason he is dying now is because of what he gave to Kipling. It was that necklace. That necklace was prolonging his life now. But now that it isn't, he'll be dying soon. And without him, Dorothy won't be able to control her powers that much. It's with her father that she's going to have a bit of guidance and better control. And yet, if she's gone and then she's left, and that thing that we saw at the beginning of this episode is left to do whatever it wants and nobody can stop him, the world could be at an end. It's nuts. So, at the same time, while I can understand Cliff and everything, as I said before, him hating on Niles and stuff, I still don't agree with him putting all his anger right there onto that little girl. Like when she was in denial and stuff here, she was even, or better yet, let me put it this way. While she was in denial and stuff, her imaginary friends let it slip to Crazy Jane, who, must I say, when we saw that scene there, it reminds me once again, all the time, on why Diane Guerrero is a natural with her role as Crazy Jane. All those flippin' multiple personalities she switched to. It's almost like instantly she knows what she's doing right off the bat. And I gotta say, I can't wait to one day meet her. I have got to meet that Diane Guerrero so I can ask her, Lady Diane Guerrero, how do you do it? You are just beautifully done. And that's all I gotta say right there. Not that nuts to take away from anyone else in the cast group, but still, when it comes to a character like Crazy Jane, I can't help it. Diane Guerrero, you kill it, girl. But moving straight on, she tried to, Crazy Jane later on trying to confront Dorothy about it. But oh, Cliff, I know you hate the Chief, but did you really have to go and say this in front of Dorothy? She's already knowing about it, and you saying it like that, just cruel, man. But still, to find out about the Chief's age, well, we all knew he lived back in the 1920s, so no surprise there. He's so many years old and everything. But still, there is one part of Cliff I will agree with, was when he went on his meltdown rant, psychological rant over, okay, you've been waiting all your life, you did all this experiment on us, so which one are you going to do to us? Make us be rap mummies? Make us be people with multiple personalities? Make us be people with goo? Or a robot man? Take your pick. Boy, did I love that guy. Brendan's acting on that part. It was just solid. Loved it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But, like again, as I said, once again, being a douche big time. By this time, when Larry tells everyone his son is dead, Cliff, get a grip, man. You're mad, but you're taking this out and putting it on everyone else, even innocent people who have no idea about this stuff. Like Larry's son? Come on! That's where I was like with Jane. Cliff, shut up! Jesus! But speaking of Larry, why don't we move on into him for a minute, who had this chance, went to his son's funeral, watched from afar, but then got to finally meet his other son, Paul, face to face, who immediately right off the bat was suspecting that guy was his father because of how he was talking. And Larry didn't waste any time trying to beat around the bush or anything. He just let him know that, yeah, I'm your dad. And yeah, he reacted like you would probably... like everyone would react when they learned that their father's been alive this whole time and stuff. But of course, Larry didn't take offense to it because he understood fully why Paul would be like that. But at the same time, Paul was more calmer about it than I guess you could say maybe some of us would have expected. But even still, though, that whatever happened, and he probably understood that Larry had his reasons, he still acknowledges that his father's alive and that he came to his son's funeral, even after all this time. Even if he's still probably mad and stuff, he still wouldn't let that stop him from letting his father come to the gathering they were having after the funeral. And Larry has grandkids. Or better yet, he's a great-grandpappy is the better term, because that's Paul's grandkids. But still, he did end up going to that gathering, but he didn't join anyone in the house, mostly because I don't think he would have the courage to go through with that. But at least it gave us a beautiful send-off with him for his son, Gary. It turns out all those years, Gary had built a shrine hoping his dad would return, and he saw all that, and it gave us a heartfelt scene of closure for him to know of some of the things that his sons were doing as their mother and him were still alive during that time. Oh, yeah. And even, like I said, even though he didn't go inside to talk with Paul and everything, I think it's good we can get closure from there. And speaking of other stuff, Cyborg, after growing big, decided to leave the mansion, didn't want nothing else to do with what the chief did and everything, and just felt like he doesn't need to go out there. He even mentioned in last episode that he just wants to get back out in the world doing his thing before he started helping the Doom Patrol find the chief and everything. And this time, though, he's going into group counseling and everything, where he meets a girl. I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but that girl turns out to be someone Vic started hitting it off with. They started to bond and everything. Wherein the fact that the first thing to click their bondingness was the fact that they both lost their mothers due to accidents and stuff. And this woman used to be in the military. But here's where things really kicked off, where the woman helped Vic to know that just because somebody did the worst thing doesn't mean something very awful, very terrible. They shouldn't be completely judged on that. As she was arguing arguing with him not to arrest the kid who tried to mug her and stuff. In other words, trying to make Vic see to open up to giving people chances, because if we don't, it could end up leading to these people becoming very bad, and it's because we didn't get a chance to help them. And yeah, that's a good point there, right there. We gotta all remember here that, like, no one's born bad. Sometimes they can become bad because they got in with the wrong crowd, or no one was there to try to help them when they should have. And in doing so, that leads them down to that darker path if they can't find a light to lead them to a better path. So let's try to remember that, guys, or else, yeah, we could end up having some bad things going on. But now that I've said all that, we gotta go back into the Chief, Rita, Crazy Jane, and Robot Man, because this thing was mixed up with smaller pieces of the story being on Larry and Vic, while the other one was back in Doom Manor, where they're trying to figure out how they can prolong the Chief's life. Cliff didn't want anything to do with it and wanted to leave with Jane, and is trying to deny he is independent. He didn't take care of himself, when that's not true. He needs these guys whether he wants to admit it or not, because yeah, Niles is the one who did this to him, but while Niles is the one who did this to him, these guys are all he has left. And he's got to figure out how to deal with that and admit to it, for that matter. And speaking of other people we're talking about, Rita here is, what's the best way to put it here? Well, like, first off, she still hangs around Chief more than anyone. But like I said, that goes to what I was saying about Cliff. She doesn't really have much of anything. And even though she still hasn't forgive him for what he's done, when it comes to his daughter, she wants to help his daughter and stuff, so she tries to help him in figuring something out. And this is where Chief talks about something called a continuum thing, and it's basically belongs to a guy named Dr.Tyme, which goes into what I was talking about at the intro of my video. It turns out they had to go through a magical teleporting portal to go to a new dimension to get this so-called continuum thing, which is some sort of gem. And this is where we got to meet Dr.Tyme at his skate park, where he sings nothing but "Bad Girl." And there's one scene where he's starting to flirt with Rita. Funny stuff right there. But he knew all along what they were there for, because lots of people had went there for it before. And here's the thing, though, that Niles probably didn't bother to tell him. What she probably no doubt knew about was just keeping it to himself, and that is in the fact that Dr.Tyme and that time head of his, which they thought was a helmet, is actually his head, which Rita found out when she tried to grab it using her elastic powers. But no, instead she breaks it, and then the brain comes out and just starts freeze timing everybody. Although it gets to a point where Cliff even gets a freeze time of it and gets to see parts of when Chief was taking him apart. Or I think that was when he was building him, taking the brain, putting his brain into that robot body back in episode 1. I think that's all that was. And Cliff is just misreading that one. That's just what I'm thinking, at least. But luckily, though, Rita was able to reset the clock back thanks to his whole clock face and turning the hand back and stuff. But after doing that, we also see here that Dr.Tyme strikes a nerve with Rita when he mentions how her mother said that Rita will never be anything, and that haunts her all there, which is another reason to explain why she's still helping Chief, because she wants to be something. She wants to help. She wants to be good at something, but she's starting to see she isn't. And now that all she has left is what Niles made her, she can't be that, and she is still pissed off. And even more so with Chief. All because Chief made her this way. In other words, she feels worse than what she was back when she was Rita Farr. Not to say it's not to blame for anybody, but also during that time when Cliff was frozen, we saw here that Jane also got a little flashback. It was into why people were helping Olivia, but it also helps us learn more about that Miranda girl. About the Miranda girl, who was the first primary before Jane. It turns out this woman was a strong person, as she was able to help help Kay Olivia when it came to her mother, because it turns out her mother wasn't a good mother either. And man, to see all this stuff was just wow. I don't really know what more to say with Jane. There's no telling how much more stuff we're learning as we go along, but Jane's always been a favorite character of mine, so whatever it is, I cannot wait for it. I am stoked, I am psyched, just can't wait, and we'll see what happens there. And as for Dorothy, all she really did in this episode was decide if their dad's dying and she can't do some of the things with him, she needs to find a way to spend as much time with him as possible, which is where Rita can come in and help her with that. And that's good, that is good. But that's pretty much it, guys. And hey, I don't know about you guys, but season 2 has been really good so far. It's gonna get better, I hope. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I want it to be just as good as all the others back in season 1. But until then, guys, let's just leave it all at that. And hey, if you enjoy my videos, all you gotta do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye.